that, gents. Gonna mute the sound. I can find the right button. There we go. There we go. Right, so now class has got us all loose. We're going to stretch ourselves even further. So start with the feet just outside of the hips. Hands drop down by the thighs and then pull up through the top of the head. So you can take a nice big stretch of the arms, turn your palms, eye gaze lifts, and then pull your shoulders down. So again, just breathe in, lift, and then breathe out to press, and pull the shoulders down. In through the nose, should stop over and out through your mouth. And again, nice big breath in. Now palms stay pressed, and just ease over to the right, and then over to your left, and then bring both hands down. Again, nice big breath in. Turn your palms and press, find the length in the spine, and just find that gentle side bend, easing from one side over to the other. Now, as you ease your upper body from side to side, start to really anchor down into your feet. Press the soles of your feet down into the floor, and as you're moving, that's going to help to keep the hips still, and just allow the movement to stay in the spine. One more time, breathing in, press your palms, your ribcage lift, anchor into the heels, and then from the centre, let your hands just come down to your thighs. Take a little wrap from side to side. Keep the hips nice and square to the front, and keep gently pressing into the edge of the feet. So the hips are staying square, head's turning, and that spine is staying nice and long. Let the shoulders stay relaxed. And just feel it turning the upper body that makes the arms wrap around your body. Once more on each side. And then resting in the centre. Coming to your right shoulder now and starting to circle. So a big circle, keeping your palm open to the front, and then rolling the shoulder back. Starting to turn the head and pulling your elbow right down towards the back of the ribs. Breathing as you lift the arm, and out breath to pull back. Now the other arm when you're ready. So circling, starting small, keeping the chest open to the front, pulling the elbow down towards the back of the ribs, and then starting to turn the upper body. Now again, as you've got the feet wide, you're pressing into the edge of the feet to keep the hips still, and just letting all that rotation come through the back. And once more, resting. Now tucking your chin, bend your knees, and then pull the arms back and lift your chest. So the knees bend. You feel yourself flexing forward, just feeling a little bit of movement coming into the upper back. And as you lift the head, turn your palms up towards the ceiling. And feel your ribcage lifting right up towards the hips. Feel the breath. Let the breath go. Breath in. And let it go. And two more. Your last one. And then staying in the centre. From here, turn your right foot out to the side. Pull your left hip back. Left arm is going to drop down, and then we're going to circle into the shoulder again. Bending the knee this time, and letting the hips drop down towards the floor. Now as your knee comes forward, it wants to stop over the front heel. And feel like it's the hips that drop down to the ground. Breathing in as you lower, and the out breath on that lift. Two more circles, and then this time keeping the knee bent, and then bring the arm back. Press your hand forward, and then pull the shoulder back. Now again, the rotation and movement through the upper back. Keep pressing back into the edge of your left foot, so it keeps the arch lifted, the hips nice and square, and feel the upper body turning. Two more. And then from here, keep the arm back. You're going to reach the hand down towards your ankle and let your right arm come over towards the ear. And then, right elbow to your thigh and left arm reaching. Now keep the weight placed in the right heel and just feel the spine again moving. And the weight of the arms just encouraging that movement each time. Breathing out as you move into the edge of the stretch. Breath in as you ease back. And again, breathing out to extend. In with the lift. And this time, as you reach over, stay here. Bring your arm above your shoulder and straighten your right leg. Reaching your hand towards the ankle, you can slide to the ankle, or you can come up a little bit higher. Now, just let the hand glide down as far as you comfortably can, and keep pushing back into the left hip. And as you lower down towards the ankle, keep reaching your left hand up towards the ceiling. And giving 2 more little bends there. Once more. And then changing the sides. So the shoulders come above the hips, right foot turns forward, and left foot to the side. Push the knee back, and when you're ready, right arm drops, and we're just moving into those shoulder circles. Feeling the in-breath, and letting the breath go. Don't let the knee go beyond the heel. So it just sits over the heel, and then you're pulling that shoulder blade back into the ribs. And each time let the hips drop down, because as much as you're mobilising the shoulder, you're finding the stretch in that right hip too. And once more. Keep the knee over the heel, bring the arm back, and then push the hand forward. As you press the hand forward, you're also trying to turn your chest, so you're lining your heart up with your knee. Pushing back into the edge of that right foot. Now as you turn to your left, pull your left shoulder back too. And hopefully you're going to feel there, gives you a little bit more stretch into the spine. One more time. And then from there, reaching over and then reaching back. So feeling the movement through the spine, elbow to your thigh, arm towards the ear, and feel the movement in the neck too. So your ear comes down towards your left shoulder and then down towards your right shoulder. Keeping the eye gaze forward, feeling the breath. Using the weight of the arms to encourage the length and the stretch. 2 more each way. And then again, this time as you come forward, staying here. So you're going to straighten the left leg, hand towards the ankle, towards the knee. And when you're ready, just trying to reach a little further and rising. Reaching and rising. Chest really open to the front. Pushing your right hand up to the ceiling as you reach down towards that left foot. So it creates even more stretch right down the legs, right into the waist. And twice more. And your last one here. And into the centre. So from here, just bring your feet in. Be just a little bit wide in the hips. And we're going to come into a few squats with circles. So I'm going to sit the hips back, circle the arms and rise. Hips, and then push out the heels. As you circle the arms, turn your palms back to your thighs. Let's start to lift the heels as we rise. Breathing in, out on the lift. In, push through the balls of your feet. And give me 4 more here. Just trying to push the bottom a little further back each time. Last one, and staying in the centre. From here, we're going to take a nice long step forward. Turn to the left and step your left leg forward. If you can, bring your back knee all the way down to the ground. Now your right foot just rests on the top of your toes. Left leg is forward, so we're in a little lunge position, and the left knee pressing out towards the little toe. Hands behind the bottom. Push the knuckles back. Now we're going to just straighten that front leg. So you push your hips back and let your chest come forwards, and then the knee bends. So we're going to work between the hamstrings on the left leg and the hip flexors on the right. Now if it feels uncomfortable in your knee for any reason, you can place a cushion or a towel underneath that right knee. But we're going to start to add in more stretch. Let the hips drop and then push the bottom as far back as you can. When you slide your hips back, feel like you're pushing away out of your left heel. And then start to pull your toes back towards your shin. Now we can add in the arms, circling and pulling back. Circling as your hips drop, and then pulling the arms back as you straighten your leg. Then in comes the breath, taking a breath in as you reach forward, and then breathing out as you pull back. 2 more. One last time, and then stay here. Hands to your thigh, tuck in the chin so your back rounds, and then just push your chest forward so your back becomes straighter. So again, chin tucks in, and then chest pushes forward. You can do this with the hands on the ground, and just feeling the movement through the upper back, and notice how that increases the stretch right down the back of your thigh. So let's have a couple more here. Pushing the chest forward, tucking the chin in, and then this time, as you push your chest forward, whether you have your hand on your thigh or on the floor, stay and just pull your toes back and then push them forward. Pull your toes back and push forward. So as you pull your toes back, hopefully just start to get a little bit more stretch into your calf. And again, option here is hands on the thigh, maybe hinging a little further forward as you pull your toes in, or staying here with the hands down and really pulling back with that big toe. Once more. Now bend that front knee. Bring your hands forward. Right hand underneath your right shoulder. You're going to turn to your left knee. So your left arm lifts above your shoulder and you turn your heart towards your left knee. So you're looking to the left hand side. You're reaching your fingers again up to the ceiling. From here you can tuck your toes under on your right foot. And then you might want to lift your right knee and then see if you can twist maybe a little bit further. Left knee's at 90 degrees, that just stacks over the heel. And then you're rolling the shoulder back, maybe turning your eye gaze up towards the ceiling, looking at the length of the arm. Breathing in, opening the chest. And then whenever you're ready, bring your knee down. Bring both hands back by your foot and then step your left knee back. Pull your hips back to your heels and then gently push your chest forward. As you pull your hips back into your heels, you're going to round the back, so pull your belly button through to the spine. Gently push your chest forward so your ribs just slide away from the hips. And again, just feel the movement through the back. A couple more each way. And resting in the middle. So we'll turn to the opposite side now. So when you're ready, you might turn to the opposite side of your mat, square the hips to the right, and this time you're going to step your right leg forward. So once you have your right foot forward, whichever way you're facing, hands behind the back, push your knuckles down towards that back heel. Just straighten the front leg, and then bend the knee. So again, you're feeling your bottom pushing back, and then your hips pushing forward. And as you're moving the legs, you're trying to keep the length to the upper back. Then the hips feel heavy as they sink down to the floor here. And then see if you can make that movement a little bit bigger by dropping the hips lower or pulling your toes back towards your shin. We're going to add in the arms. So when you come forward and bend the knee, lift the arms, that helps to deepen the hip flexor stretch, and then pull the hands back. Breathe in, sweep the hands forward, and then breathe out, push the bottom and the arms behind. In through your nose, and then let it go. Feel your bottom pushes back away from your heel. Feel how that brings a much deeper stretch into your hamstrings. A little bit of balance required as well. And give me one more. Nice big reach up, and then pulling back. So hands onto the thighs or down to the ground, and just moving the back now by pushing your chest forward and then tucking your chin in. And again, you can do this here with the hands on the thigh. And you might, again, if you feel a little bit unbalanced, you can always pop your hand against the wall on a chair, just help with your balance. And the main focus is getting the movement into the back, tucking the chin and pulling the belly back, and then pushing your heart forward. and a couple more wherever you feel comfortable. And then we're going to work into the calves. So you keep your chest gently pushing forward. Pull your toes back and then push your toes to the floor. And again, just that little pull back with the toes. Hopefully you can feel a really deep stretch into your calves. Pushing the bottom back as you pull your toes back. And again, 4, 3, 2, and your last one. Bend your front knee. Walk the hands forward and let that back hip drop a little. Tuck under the toes of your left foot, left hand underneath your shoulder, and you're going to turn your chest to the right. So your heart turns towards your front knee, your right knee. You're reaching your left hand up to the ceiling, your right hand, sorry, up to the ceiling. I'm not helping, am I? I'm pressing your left hand down to the ground. Whenever you're ready with those back toes tucked, you can pull up with the knee, strengthen the back leg, push back into the heel, and then see if you can turn into your chest more. Eye gaze directly to the back, or you can turn your eye gaze up towards the ceiling. Breathe in the length of your spine, and then breathing out into that rotation. Strong straight back leg. And then in your own time, just bring the hands back to the floor, knees down, knees come back into the hips, and coming back into a shell stretch. So you let the hips come towards the heels. Arms can rest on the ground. Now you can reach the arms forward, or you might want to bring the arms a little closer, whichever feels most comfortable. When you're here, you're going to focus on the back, drawing the belly button through to the spine, and sinking your hips back to your heels. Now we're going to turn to the front, so you've got your left arm forward, your right hand threads under your left. The back of your right hand rests on the ground, and then you're turning your head and trying to look underneath that left arm. Start to roll your left shoulder back, so you feel more stretch into that shoulder. Feel more rotation through your ribs, and still allowing the hips to sink back towards your heels. Breathe up the length of the spine, and when you're ready, breathe out and try and push the arm a little further through, or roll your left shoulder further back. Changing sides when you're ready. So bring the right arm forward, left hand threads through. You can rest the head, the ear and the shoulder on the floor. Roll your right shoulder back, and then try and thread the left arm a little further. Sinking the hips back to the heels, rolling the shoulder blade back towards the spine, and trying to find that rotation through the upper back. One more breath in. Again, just let the breath run up the back, and the out breath, just allow yourself to sink towards the thin thighs. Perfect. And then bring the hands back into the centre. Walk yourself back, walk the hands back, and re-step through your spine. Bring the feet forwards. So as the feet come forward, they're going to be hip distance apart. And we're going to come into a little roll back. So hands onto the shins to begin with, just below your knees. Eye gaze is going to be forward, and just allow yourself to start rolling back, and then bringing your heart forward and lifting. So movement of the spine. And when we start to move through the spine, we want to start with the lower back. So it helps to just start by tucking under with your tailbone, and then pressing the belly button back towards the spine. Keep your eye gaze forward so you get to the bottom, and then you can tuck your chin in and look towards your hips. And when you come forward, pull right up to the crown of the head. So nice and lengthened at the top. Breathe in as you roll back, and then breathe out to come forwards. And really lift the front of the rib cage when you come forward. It takes the back into extension. A couple more here. And your last one. And from here, as we come into centre, we're going to let the knees come out to the sides. So we're going to cross the ankles and let the knees come down to the sides. Now from here, you're going to anchor the hips. Hips nice and square to the front, hands by the thighs, take a nice big breath in, reach up to the ceiling, and then breathe out, come forwards. Draw the belly back, breathe in, reach the arms out, up, and as you come forward, trying to keep the hip bones anchored to the ground. And just let the arms brush along the floor. So your fingertips land lightly, belly button pulls back to the spine, and you're breathing again and lifting, and your out breath to release. And give me a couple more here. Just letting your breath guide your body. It's not down dog time yet, Lexi. Soon, but not yet. And then bring the hands back into the centre. Give a nice big lift. Turn your palms and press. Hold on to your left wrist, and gently pull to your right. And then take your right wrist and gently pull to your left. And again, the right one pulls over. As you're moving from side to side, the hips stay nice and anchored. A couple more each way. Encouraging it a tiny bit further if you can. And once more each way. So now we're ready for a little bit more movement in the spine. Bring the hands down to the floor. Your left hand circle. Push your fingers forward. Roll the elbow back. And keep your right hand anchored to the floor and your hips. Now try and make that circle bigger if you can. So pushing, pushing, pushing. And as you rise, push out your right hand. Breathing in to reach forward and out to roll the shoulder back. 2 more circles. And your last one. And then resting hands down, and this time making your side bend bigger. So one hand on the floor, one arm towards the ear. Imagine you're moving between 2 panes of glass from side to side. And think about the length in the spine in the centre. So pulling up through the top of the head, letting the breath go. Not letting the hips rock go, your sit bones are super glued to the floor. And once more each way. And then we're going to bring the movement around with the right hand. So left hand anchors, circle the arm forward and roll. Breathing in and breathing out to roll back. Feel like the elbow leads the way. Pulls back and down towards the back of the ribs. And then start to make the circle bigger. And again, push off your left hand when you rise. Still keeping the hips anchored to the floor. Perfect. And 2 more little circles. Not big circles. Big circles are good too. And then releasing from here. So I'm going to bring some release into the hip flexors next. Then we're going to do some work with some bridges. So if you take the feet wide, hands behind the hips, chest up nice, hold to the side of the hips, and just roll. Lift the chest here and push your ribcage up, but press the knees down. And then roll to the opposite side, hands towards the ankle, push the knees down, the chest up. So as you're pressing your knees down to the floor, it's going to bring a little bit more stretch into the hips. Now once you've got that movement, start to add a little twist at the top. So turn and look back over your shoulder. Find the length in the spine first, and then the twist. Always shuffle forward on this one. Breathing out as you push down and lift up the chest. And feel that rotation at the top, looking up the shoulder each time. Or one more each side. And then we come up to the right, and we're going to work on the right hand side. So as we come to the right hand side, we're going to work with more of the hips. Now to deepen your stretch, you can push this left foot further forward, or to ease it off, you can bring it back a little. Ideally looking about the knee to be at 90 degrees. Back foot, you bring that out a little, so when you look at that knee, that's at 90 degrees too. Hand on your foot, right hand just above your thigh, push the chest forward so you've got the length in the spine again, and then bend your elbows rather than your back. and just hinge forwards. Now what we don't want to do is round the back. What we want to do is imagine you've got a pole stuck up the back of the t-shirt and then gently hinge forward. And as you hinge forward, you're pressing your knee down to the ground and you're keeping the front of your chest lifted right up off your hips. Breathing out each time you come forwards. Not forcing it, but just starting to feel the stretch come into that right hip. Breathing in as you ease back, and then breathing out to come forwards. Now this time we're going to stay. So as you inch forward, find the stretch. Press the knee down and lift the front of the ribs up. Option is to bring your hands forward as far as you comfortably can, and maybe working your way down to your elbows. If that's too much, just keep the hands in front of the shin. Push the hands into the floor to help the chest keep lifting, but keep pressing the right knee into the floor at the same time. Now we're just going to rock the hips a little. Just rock over to your left and then back to your right. So you just feel your weight shifting over to the left and back into the centre. Let your shoulders move to the left and then bring them back to the right. Breathe out as you slide across and breath in to release. Now once more. And then we're going to go deeper, but we're going to walk the hands back first. Taking this left leg further back. So again, you can keep that little bend into the knee, or you can straighten the leg and turn onto the tops of the toes. When you turn onto the tops of the toes, you're also going to rock your left hip down towards the floor. And again, if you prefer, sit down your bottom and just keep bending that knee and just feel like you're turning into your shoulders. If you're okay, bringing the weight onto the hip, elbows, pushing your left hip down to the floor and gently pushing your chest forward. And you're going to rock again. You're going to rock your weight over to the left and then back into the right. So it's like you're trying to press your left hip bone down towards your heel. Breathing out each time you rock across. A nice gentle in-breath as you ease back. You should be feeling this in your right buttock, around your right hip. And this time, when you find it, stay with it. So rock across, gently encourage the left hip down towards the heel, down towards the floor. Little lift of your heart. Breath all up the length of your body. And breathing out, allowing yourself to sink a little further. And that should be the nice bit. Feeling it right around the hip. When you're ready, let's ease back into the centre. Bending both knees, and then we're going to come back to that rock from side to side. So rolling, legs is taking over everything. Rolling from the right, and then back over to the left. So just get some movement back into the hips. Adding that turn at the top, and you hopefully you'll feel how much looser your right hip feels. Now you can feel you can press the knee a little bit firmer down to the ground. So let's get the left hip back loose. This time, as you go across to your left, stay to your left hand side. Back onto the mat. So again, adjusting your foot position. The further you bring the leg forward, the more stretch into the hip. And to pull it back, eases the stretch off. Looking roughly at 90 degrees at the front knee and squaring your heart up with that knee. And maybe bring that back knee to 90 degrees too, see how it feels. Right hand onto the ankle, left hand just above the thigh on the floor, and just start to gently rock forwards. Now again, remember, when we're rocking forwards, we're not bending the back, we're bending the elbows. Just letting your weight shift forward and then easing back. Out breath as you switch, hinge forward, sorry. Pressing that left knee down to the floor. And a couple more times. And then holding. So once you find that stretch, you can bring your hands further forward. Square the shoulders, so you're trying to square the shoulders with that front shin. option to walk a little further forward and bring it down to the elbows. Now you're going to rock from your right shoulder over to your left. And just feel as you rock your upper body from side to side, it brings a little bit more stretch into that left hip. Now we don't have to force it, just feel that stretch increase and ease off. Increase and ease off. And breathing out to increase and a breath in to ease off. And a couple more. And then we're ready to deepen the stretch. So in the centre, I'll walk the hands back. Left leg, right leg, sorry. Take it further back. You can keep the bend in your knee or straighten the leg and turn onto the tops of the toes. And when you turn onto the tops of the toes, you're just going to rock your right hip down towards your left heel. Hands can come on the ground. You can bring the hands close to the shin. Just feel your weight shifting over into the right hip and then back into the left. Again, you might want to bring the elbows on the ground. Breathing out each time you rock your hip to the floor. And again, never force it, just feeling how that gently increases the stretch in the left hip. Breathing out as you rock across. Breath in is the centre. Lex Lewis went to go walk his love out, yeah. Oh, my exercise this morning. Let's do a down dog. Let's do an up dog. Lex is taken out now. And a couple more. And this time, as you rock over, you're going to hold. Don't push forward with the heart. I feel like you're trying to lift your heart slightly up away from your hips. You're making it back longer. Now that stretch again comes a little bit deeper. Breathing in deeply. And then breathing out, maybe walking the hands a little further forward. And again, never going to a point of pain, just bit by bit trying to encourage the stretch to go deeper by either rolling your right hip towards the heel or walking the hands a little further forward. Lots of breath. Breath always helps. Let your chest sink down. And that's the nice bit, my friends. Walk the hands back when you're ready. So we can ease back into the centre and let's just see how loose the hips feel now. Both knees out wide and just roll them from side to side. And hopefully they should feel really, really loose. And now the hips are looser, so you can get more rotation through the upper body. Maybe you can feel that you turn the head and you can look a little further behind. Like owls, but all the way around. And once more, each way. And then resting in the centre. So now the hips are all nice and loose. We're going to come into some hip bridges. We're going to have the feet hip distance apart, hands on the knees, and take a roll back. And hands come just down by your thighs. Walk your feet back so they're fairly close to your bottom. And then from here, the feet come together, so the edge of your feet, your ankles are glued together. You're going to lift the hips and then push the knees out, bring the knees in and roll back down. So up, out, in and lower. So starting to bring a little bit of strength into the glutes as you lift the hips up. But again, pushing the knees out nice and wide, so it's bringing a little bit of stretch into the inner thighs. Now as you push the knees out wide, you just roll onto the edge of your feet. And then we're going to add a little pulse at the top. So for 10 at the top, just open for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to the centre. And ease down. Up again. Knees, pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, knees in and roll down. 2 more sets. So feeling the inner thighs get a little bit looser each time. Maybe feeling the knees then go a little bit wider each time. But we're still keeping squeezing the bottom for 3, 2, 1 and one last time. Up high and then pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Take the feet hip distance apart. Right leg lifts and comes onto your left thigh. Left hip anchors to the ground, and you're going to gently rock your right knee forward. So bring it back into that right hip. Now as you're rocking the right knee forward, keep the left buttock pressed on the floor. And then if you want to go a little bit deeper with that stretch, we're going to now take the hands behind the left thigh, hug the knee in, and just allow that knee to rock backwards and forwards. You can start to peel your bottom off the floor a little to bring more stretch into the hips. Now this time, as you rock back, you're going to hold it here. Lace the fingers together and see if you can hug the knee in a little bit closer. Now just gently encourage the right knee away. Just gently pressing and releasing, pressing and releasing. And as you keep gently pressing the right knee away, again you're feeling that just increase the stretch again into that right hip. 3, 2, and your last one. And then place the feet down. Right foot comes down, left lifts, bend the knee. Just gently pressing that knee forward first. Again, just loosening around the hips. Breathing out each time you push the knee away. And then whenever you're ready, taking it deeper. Hands come behind the thigh and just edging the knee in and out. Again, you can feel the hips just tilt back a little bit further. Keeping the bottom of the floor, see how it feels. But try now and keep the chin tucked in, the shoulders anchored to the ground. 3, 2, and hold. Lace your fingers together if you can behind your thigh. And now just gently rock the left knee forward. Keep pulling the right knee in towards your chest. Breathing out with each little push. And again, 4, 3, 2, and you're 1. Release both feet down to the floor. Bring the edge of your feet together, and then not having the feet too close like the foot bridge, they're a little further away. Draw the tummy in so the lower back's down on the ground, and then let the knees fall apart. Bring the soles of your feet together, and let the knees then feel a little heavier. Be aware of the ribs. The ribs don't want to flare. You're softly drawing the belly button to the spine. And then you can let your hands rest on your thighs and encourage the knees down a little deeper if you can. Or just the weight of the legs might feel enough. Just breathing in nice and deep. And then breathing out as you let your knees sink. I can need that really good stretch for my hips today. I feel much better. Hands come underneath the knees, squeeze the knees together, bring the knees back in towards the chest, and when you're ready, taking a roll up. Taking a roll over. Going into box position. Hands under the shoulders and knees under the hips, and let's just rock backwards and forwards again. So drawing the belly up and pushing your heart forwards. So the back goes into flexion and then into extension. I gaze the thighs, and then I gaze up towards the ceiling. And a couple more. Good for stretching the neck too. And your last one. And staying in the middle. Tuck the toes, lift the knees, gently press back to the heels. Try to encourage the heels down the ground. And again, if they don't get there, that's fine. Just the feeling you're trying to push them down to the floor. Then lift them, bend the knees, walk the hands back, and then place the heels on the ground. Lexi will come and do a down dog. Take a breath in. Don't go walkies. I think she thinks walkies mean down dog. Breath in, and then breathe out as you restack your spine. So I'll do down dog, up dog, any dog when we go for a walk. Doing the walkies. Just say please. Roll the shoulders back and a little lift of the head. So again, little shoulder roll at the top. Breathing as the shoulders come up. And then breathing out to roll them back and down, and then just make them a little bit bigger. Palms open to the front, and shoulder blades pulling down into the back of the ribs. I think this means she does want to go for a walk. You got your ball. Where's your lead? This way. And give yourselves a clap, ladies. Oh, well worked and well stretched. They're quite loose around the hips today.